Good morning, everybody. This is certainly a wonderful occasion. I am super excited that everybody took the opportunity to come down today, or most of us are in City Hall to participate. Charlene, come on up here. Come on up here. Come on up here. Behind every good Pat, there's a good woman, I assure you. Right, especially behind this guy. So no, today we are here really to honor and celebrate Mr. Pat Monahan, who was the interim city manager. I have the opportunity to really, say some good things about Pat, and I have the opportunity to really roast Pat. So this is certainly a tremendous opportunity for me, but in all seriousness, this is a very good day for us. I do want to kind of give just a little bit of backstory. Most of y'all understand how we got to have Pat Monahan as our interim city manager, but I just want to share just a little story about where we were as an organization and how important it was for Pat really to step in and the good job that he did. So first and foremost, we were at a point of Rob Hernandez had made the decision to pursue other opportunities, and what it left for the city of Savannah was a void, right? A void that we really needed the right leader with the right patience, and most importantly, the right temperament in a tough time for the city. And so we found Pat Monahan. And I can say that Pat and I, because I am going to roast him just a little bit, I get two opportunities today. Pat and I had never worked before, right? And so, worked together before. And so when I knew Pat Monahan was coming in, I didn't know him. I will tell you, I have been pleasantly surprised and certainly pleased about working with Pat Monahan. And before I roast him, I'm going to give him a lot of good compliments. That's what they teach you, right? It's like the Oreo thing, right? You say good things, then you roast, and then you say good things again. So he has certainly been a mentor to me. So he comes into this organization. I didn't know him from Adam. And one of the first things that I realized about Pat, that we have a lot of similarities. The first thing is his family. Now, to his left is the anchor of his family. Charlene anchored this man through what he had to deal with here at Savannah. And she's been a very big, strong anchor for him. The other thing that's important about Pat Monahan is the rest of his family. He has two boys. We have a lot of similarities in that. And so not only was he a mentor to me, he also, took the opportunity to talk about things other than business. Because in this line of work, if you've been in City Hall for a while, yeah, you need to talk about something other than business every once in a while, right? To put a smile on your face. And so Pat Monahan came in with the grace that we needed. He came in with the patience that we needed. And most importantly, he came in with the knowledge that we needed. So before I roast him, I do want to take an opportunity to really give him a big round of applause, not because he stepped in at a difficult time, not because he was a mentor, not because he's a family man, not because he's smart, not because he did all the right things for the city of Savannah, but because by and large, he's a damn good person. So can I get a round of applause for Pat Monahan? Uh-oh. Hey, Mr. Mayor, I'm waiting on you. I got it. So I do want to take an opportunity to share a few stories because it wouldn't be me if I didn't, right? So I can tell you guys that of all the time that I worked with Pat Monahan, I was only disappointed like one time. And I count them. For Pat Monahan, you have to count the times. Like you're disappointed with Pat Monahan. It doesn't happen a lot, because right, it's always say, Pat, you're an angel. You're certainly going to heaven, and me, I'm still trying to get there, right? But Pat is certainly an angel. But one day he let me down. So as I told you, Pat is very much family oriented, and he is very much paternal. But there was this moment that Pat Monahan was solely responsible for the injury of a city employee. That's right. That's right. See, even he knows. I know everybody knows, right? So Pat Monahan was solely responsible. So for you that might have not been there, let me tell you how this story went. So we go off to leadership development, a time where all of the regulars are supposed to bond, right? We're supposed to get to know each other, trust exercises. And we have Pat Monahan, who is the city manager, and he is leading this effort. He is the guy in charge. He is the father figure. He is the guy that's supposed to make sure guys and gals do everything right. But not Pat Monahan, not that day. No. There was a conversation and it went like this. Two guys talking. One guy looks over and says, I think I'm faster than you. I bet I can outrun you. Well, employee B says, I bet you can't. Well, Pat Monahan at that moment should have said, guys, seriously, don't worry about who's the fastest. We're all professionals here. This is leadership. We're going to work together. But no, what does Pat Monahan do? Pat Monahan says, well, I want to see who's the fastest. That's what he said. And employee B looks over at employee A and goes, let's have at it. You want to race? Well, Pat Monahan is supposed to say, guys, y'all are professionals. This is a professional event. Let's not race. Let's not do this here, right? What does Pat Monahan say? Well, how about you start over there and you run over to the wall? That's what Pat Monahan says. So employee A looks at employee B, and employee B takes off his jacket, and there they go. And Pat Monahan, again, had an opportunity to stop it and say, guys, don't do this. What does Pat Monahan does? He says, well, I'll tell you when it starts. So he goes over, and he says, go. And the two employees are running. This is a leadership training. Pat Monahan, the city manager, should have stopped it. He should have said, no, guys. No, off they go. Two employees running at a leadership conference. Employee A is outrunning employee B. Well, employee B is determined to win. Pat Monahan didn't stop it. Employee B runs into a wall. That's how this story ends, right? And hurts himself. He injures himself. He has to go to see a medic. I mean, he is seriously injured. When Pat Monahan could have single-handedly stopped all of that. So my point to you is, as great as Pat Monahan is, he is responsible for injuring a city employee. Now, I am not going to share with you who the employees are. I'm sure some of y'all that were at the leadership training, y'all remember the moment. But anyway, now Pat was extremely gracious. We had a really good time. I enjoyed every minute of working with Mr. Monahan. And like I said, I mean, I can't say enough good words about him. And if that's the only thing that I can rib him about today, it says a lot about his character. He was certainly a good figure. And again, I started out by saying he was the right person, right organization, but certainly at the right time. So one more round of applause for Pat Monahan before I bring up the mayor. All right, so I want to bring up the mayor. I hope that the mayor takes his opportunity to not only say some good things about Pat, but in true form of, Unveiling, takes an opportunity to roast him as well. So with that, Mayor Van Johnson, most of y'all, everybody should know him. Mayor, the floor is yours.
Thank you.
What's up?
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Obviously, it's good to be here. I'm really happy to see Charlene. Not so much Pat, but because when I see Charlene, I know there's something sweet somewhere in the neighborhood. So maybe? Yes. Yeah. See, good to go. It's obviously a pleasure for us. Good to see Mayor Deloach here. Y'all give her a round of applause as well. Obviously for us, particularly for me, I've had the opportunity to know Pat Monahan now for going on 30 years. For 23 of those years, I worked for him, and the last couple, he worked for me. I will tell you that particularly, and he said it right, for me and for coming into this office, particularly during the pandemic, Pat Monahan was exactly who and what we needed. We spent a lot of time together, and Pat counts things that nobody else in the world counts. Pat pays attention to things that nobody else in the world pays attention to. Pat likes words that nobody else have ever heard of. And so Bates is here and Marty is here, and they'll tell you that we've had to endure the things that Pat counts and thinks about that nobody else counts. So for us, it was really a matter of looking at our COVID infection rates, and this is very early in COVID, and we really didn't know as much as we do now. But Pat would come in with these endless amount of stats that he just decided to write up about COVID. And he said, well, did you know that, did you know, like, no, we did not know. But yet, those statistics actually had us and helped us to really think about COVID in a different way, particularly when we're talking about planning our organization and our community's response as it relates to that. What I like most about him is that he's a righteous man, and I appreciate that about him. This is a very difficult job, and it was a very challenging job at a very challenging time, and Pat's hair is growing back black again. So that's interesting. But to have someone with the nerves of steel that he has, someone who could take criticism and not criticize back, someone who could endure the things that he would endure from time to time, and yet always be the consummate professional, we appreciate that. There are very few individuals, I think none, that have served in both a county and a city, and I'm sure you probably would know. You're the only one, right? Oh, see, I told you he would know. That's the kind of stuff. And so I just miss asking him, and he would just know how many steps it took to get from here to there to there, or stuff I just didn't, care to know about. like the doo-doo one. You remember that?
The what?
The doo-doo.
The doo-doo.
Yeah, one day we was talking about doo-doo floating, and that meant something. I'm like, Pat, I don't need to hear about this. But this is how stuff Pat thinks about it. But for us, and for him, serving in leadership, it shows that he's committed to our community. I will tell you that, and I'm sure Mayor DeLoach would agree, because Mayor DeLoach served both the city and county as I did, having those relationships helped bring our community closer together. And so we weren't fighting each other like city or county. It was more about Savannah and Chatham. And so Pat is the epitome of that. So in every great organization, there is a wall of fame. And so we'll be very happy to add his photograph to this, so that years beyond him, somebody will turn around and say, why all of them in black and white, and why is he in color? That's Pat. Well, why would we have color? I mean, this is not, black and white time anymore. So to Pat, to all of you that serve with you and among you, we're glad to have you back. We congratulate you on all you've done for our organization. And I think history will be the true test of all that you've done. And to Charlene, who endured along with them. We know that this is not a journey that people do by themselves. And so we know you walked alongside of him, and we want to thank you for being his much, much, much better half, and for enduring all of those Pat facts that you just probably never wanted to know. And the last thing is this. So the first rock and roll marathon, he kind of dared me to do it. And so I did it. It was not a good experience, but I finished it. And so Pat says, so we're sitting in a staff meeting at the county, and they're like, did Van finish? Like, yeah. He said, oh yeah, he finished. I checked. It took him 5 hours or something. He was behind the guy in the wheelchair, the guy with one leg. I'm like, really, Pat? I did beat the guy in the wheelchair, and I beat the guy with one leg.
But not SpongeBob.
I did not beat SpongeBob. But SpongeBob was on some other stuff. I couldn't beat SpongeBob. But congratulations again. Thank you so much, and welcome to the history of the city of Savannah.
Hey, so in true form, before we ask Pat to speak, I do want to take a moment of personal privilege, I guess, if you will. I want Mayor DeLoach to come up and just say a few words. I think the beauty of Pat's experience is not only did he get the opportunity to work, in the county and the city, but he also, worked with two different councils and two different mayors. And so I want to give former Mayor DeLoach, Eddie DeLoach, an opportunity to come up and give his shot or his swing at roasting Pat as well. So Mayor DeLoach, if you'll come up.
It was a scary time when Rob Hernandez walked out the door. I ruined 2 pair of pants. I ruined 2 pair of pants, getting on my knees, crawling around, asking him to do this job. But really, he is what we needed. He is what this city needs, period. But we all have our time, and we've all had our opportunity. And he came in, he was smooth. He's not looking for any accolades. All he's in here to do is do his job. That's what we came in, that's what was our deal. We want to do our job, we want to make us a better city, we want to move forward. That is what Pat Monahan did when he came in. He did the same thing in the county when we were over there, when I was a county commissioner. And the mayor knows exactly how he worked. Him and Russ Abolt, they got stuff done. When he came here, he got stuff done. He didn't pick friends, he just did the job. That's all you can ask for a person like that. So it was a blessing when he said, well, man, you don't know how I felt when he said, all right, Eddie, I'll do it for just 4 months. 4 months. I said, that's all you got to do, Pat. Little did I know it would be a little bit longer than that way. But they asked him to leave in 4 months. He says, no, I'm having too good a time. But it is an honor. It is an honor to be with a person that's that gracious, that is that amazing, and does such wonderful work, and never, ever looks for the spotlight. He does his job in a manager's way, and thank God for people like that. Thank God for the people that work here. We cannot say enough for the employees that the city of Savannah have. You do your job every day. I walk in the morning times and I go around, and all through this city at 5:30 in the morning, we've got people that are, I got this phone going off, but we've got people going around taking care of cleaning up this city that you don't even know about. So anytime you see somebody out there, stop and tell them thank you. Tell them what it means to have them here. Because I do that, try to do that every morning when I'm making my walk in the morning. And it is important that people know they appreciate it. We thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to serve the city of Savannah. Thanks for everybody that I work with. And especially thank you, Pat Monahan, for stepping in when we needed a strong individual to take the reins and get the job done. Thank you.
Hey, so again, Pat Monahan has been great. I think now I'm looking for Nick to get some. Do we have any other elected officials or somebody you want to speak, Nick? You guys have to understand, one of the things I do is a lot of times Nick gives me clear direction, much like Emily. I just don't follow, right? So I'm making sure I'm doing that, because now what I really want to do is give Pat, the opportunity just to say a few words. And really, guys, I mean it so sincerely when I say that he was the right guy at the right time. When you meet an individual for the first time, you never know how it's going to work out. And it is great to reflect back, 6 months and really look at what that individual means to you and how much they had an impact not only on you professionally, but also personally. And so I do want to take this opportunity to really just thank Pat Monahan. I'm going to put my mask back on because that's the perfect thing. Wait, don't wait. So he wants me to show you the plaque, but I'm going to do it my way back. Now, seriously. Thank you. Wait. What are we supposed to do with this? Let's do this. Let's do this rock, paper, scissors. No, seriously, thank you, Pat. I mean, seriously, it meant a lot to me for you to be here. And I mean it when I say both professionally and personally. The conversations we shared and the things that you shared with me and the guidance. So thank you for that, sincerely. And now with this, I'm going to look at Ken to see what direction he was trying to give me, and then I'm going to ask Pat to speak.
I just want to say, before he speaks, I'd rather have the plaque unveiled.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we're gonna unveil the plaque. I want the mayors to kind of come in. Charlene, if you will. I want you right here. Yep. Right there. There you go. Mayor's below. Right here. And then I am going to do what I do best, which is try to get out of the picture, but I'm going to unveil it. I need you to act like you're going to see it, Pat. This is a big deal. You got to see. Have you seen it?
Yes.
He deserved it. He deserved it.
You forget, I was there when it was taken.
I know, but you didn't know what it was. All right, so here it is, because I'm getting my directions right. Unveil it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh.
Looks good, Pat.
I'm the color.
You're in color, Pat.
And living color.
And it wasn't the awful Florida one that we wanted to put up here to give you a hard time. No. So congratulations, and if you will, I think Ken wants you to stand in front of this mic, is what he's telling me, and then a few words.
Well, I had prepared to offer 3 thank yous, but now I need to add a 4th thank you, and you'll find out in just a minute. But first and foremost, thank you for attending today. I think we made too much out of this occasion. I don't know that I deserved it. I tell everyone I served 18 months. I look up on that wall and Michael Brown and Don Mendoza served 44 years. So I actually deserve like a little postage stamp. I don't deserve a big photo, particularly one in color. And I think that in 33 more years, when the city of Savannah celebrates the 100th anniversary of the council manager form of government, maybe it'll be Luciana's daughter or granddaughter will talk and write about the first 100 years of city manager, and they'll look upon the wall, and hopefully there'll be a few more pictures up there, even though I'm very hopeful that Jay lasts at least 25 years. But, but when that occasion happens, I think when they reflect and they'll look back and they say, gosh, who's that short timer? And that'll be me. And so my second thank you goes to the mayor, Mayor Deloach, and Mayor Johnson. I have worked in my lifetime with 9 different council chairmen due to my county services in 2 different organizations and 2 mayors. And what you have before you represents the best of the best. I have been fortunate in many of the leaders, but I have also been fortunate to, due to some lapse by voters, to serve with those who didn't deserve to be in the leadership position that they assumed. And I just say that quite honestly, and I don't have to mention any names, but I have been fortunate that those who I've worked with generally have represented the best of public service. And I especially want to talk about Mayor Johnson for a moment, because Mayor Johnson's one of us. You know, he served as a public servant for 25 years or so, actually more, because he did start as a law enforcement officer. But he understands about public service, and I don't know of another public servant I have ever met who values what you do as much as he does. And I hope that he continues far beyond his service here throughout the rest of his life. And as we all know, that there's a passage in Matthew, in the book of Matthew, that talks about being a servant, but also about how many times you have to turn the other cheek. And you know, in the original scripture it said 7 times, and then there's been interpretation that's 77 times, and other interpretation it's actually 7 times 70, which is 490 times. And what I see with this gentleman is he's already had to turn that cheek 488 times. So I think he needs to find, we need to find another passage that applies to him. And finally, I do want to thank you here. You know, as I've said when I left, all of you are all-stars. I don't know of a better public organization in this United States than I see represented in the city of Savannah. All of you. I was fortunate when I walked in, the support you gave me, and I know you will support the next city manager just as well. And with that, and my 4th thank you is just happened because of the unveiling. I do want to thank the photographer for picking right light and maybe perhaps using a little Photoshop, but I do understand the liberties that go with that. But once again, I thank all of you for being here, and I do appreciate this recognition.
Yes, Charlene, if you would like to say a few words, not to put you on the spot, but I certainly would like to give you the opportunity. And you can roast Pat too. I mean, you have full reign.
gosh.
You can do whatever you want.
No. When Pat took this position, we talked about it, and I said, honey, if it's something that you really want to do, go for it. And he was retired, he had his own company, and I could tell he was a little bit itchy, because he was so used to public service, and he was so used to being with the whole crowd. Being at home all the time was just not something that he had his things to do, his carpentry and all sorts of stuff, but I just knew that he needed to get back into it. He wasn't ready to really be at home. So when he came back into the position of city manager, I was in full support of him. And I said, honey, you'll do a good job. And one thing about Pat is he doesn't bring his work home. And which is great. He knows how to compartmentalize, and we would talk about a few things that were going on with the city. And I learned a lot about the city. I knew a lot about the county because I'm a retired teacher, so I knew some of the comings and goings. But overall, this has been a great experience for Pat to share what he knows. He knows, in my estimation, he knows more about the city of Savannah than anyone that's been born and raised here. He's done his homework, he knows his facts, and if you ask me in Spanish, you say sabelo todo, means a know-it-all. At times I've told him that. He does know a lot, and which he takes it with a grain of salt, and he's, so thank you for being behind him, supporting him. I've gotten to know Mayor Johnson really well. Mr. Heath, I know Mayor Deloach, I know Jimmy's family, his mom. She was a former teacher. So our history in Savannah goes way back. We've been here almost 40 years. So without any further ado, I would like to say I appreciate all of your support for Pat. He gets a lot of support at home. He is a very loving husband. We've been married 44 years this year. And I'm happy that he was able to serve the city of Savannah, which has become very precious to us. And really, that's about it. Thanks for listening.
So Charlene, Miss Charlene, I do want to appreciate her for not only taking the time to say a few words, but certainly one more thing I can give Pat Monahan. His wife just called him a know-it-all. Did everybody? Did everybody? And she said it in Spanish as well. She said it twice that he was a know-it-all. Not that I would ever agree with that, but yeah, very good job, Charlene. Thank you for that. Hey, so last comment from me. I do see, and again, I'm going to go really off the script really quickly. I do see a couple of other chiefs in the audience. I see Brett, I see Chief Menard, I see Taffany. Before I close this out, and I see Chief Gunther, and I see Marty, is anybody else want to come say a few kind words about Pat? I certainly want to give you the opportunity. I'm staring at Taffany, and Taffany is staring back like, don't dare call my name. And that's okay. Brett's gonna wave. Brett waved. So Brett waved. Oh, Chief Gunther gave you a thumbs up. That means he doesn't want to say anything. Chief Menard? Thank you. Okay, yeah, she gave a thumbs up. Oh, and a heart. You got a heart from Brett. So it doesn't look like they want to say anything. So let me do this while we wrap this up. Renee Higgins, where is Renee? Renee, I do want to take an opportunity to thank Renee and the staff that helped set that up. Everything out there was set up by Renee and some other staff, with the exception of Charlene's cookies. Charlene's cookies were brought by her because I made a special request. I did. I told Pat that I would go easy on him if Charlene baked cookies. It's in writing. Ask Nick Zoller. I did. And since she baked cookies, I'm gonna stay true to form, and I'm gonna go easy on Pat. And I won't tell yet another story about Pat Monahan. So can everybody just give Renee a round of applause, just thanking her for putting it together. All right, other than that, again, thank you, Pat. Congratulations for making it to the wall. A tremendous accomplishment for you. It is great. You're in color, typical Pat Monahan, being very different from everybody else. There's always one guy. But seriously, this was a good day, and I thank everybody for coming. And then I think what Nick wants me to say is to make sure y'all don't leave any of that food out there. Everybody is charged, except for Charlene's cookies. I got dibs. Like those belong to me. But other than that, guys, eat up, mingle a little bit, and certainly take an opportunity to thank Pat Monahan. So thank you, guys.